Hello everyone and welcome to episode 6 of my World of Warcraft Let's Play. Currently, we are level 14 on our human mage, and we are continuing where we left off in the last episode, where we were doing a bunch of quests here in Westfall, and we are going to continue doing a bunch of quests here in Westfall. And we have all these quests to work on, so Gortusk Liver Pie, Westfall Stew, the People's Militia, the Killing Fields, and Humble Beginnings, and then we also have a couple of other quests, so we will continue working on those today. But first, I noticed there's a new quest available up here from Brian Stoudmantle, and I believe this quest is the beginning of a very long quest chain, and a very good quest chain, which at the end is going to give us a very, very good piece of equipment for our future adventures. So, the Defias Brotherhood. The band of wretches responsible for driving the good people of Westfall from this land call themselves the Defias Brotherhood. I need you to infiltrate this clan of thugs. We need to know who heads up the cartel and where they are hiding out. In Lakeshire, in the inn, there is a rogue by the name of Wiley who owes me a favor. Travel to Lakeshire in the Red Ridge Mountains east of Elwyn and find out what you can. Brian Stoudmantle wants you to talk to Wiley in Lakeshire. So this is the first quest of a very or decently long anyways, quest chain that has an epic ending, and I am super excited to show it off. So we just picked it up, and we have to go to Lakeshire, which is in Red Ridge Mountains, which is a place that we are not going to be going to right this moment. We are going to continue doing quests here in Westfall, but it is on our horizon. So in the meantime, we are going to just continue gathering some of these Gortusk livers and make our way over to the fields to kill more Harvest Watchers. I'm really excited to show off all these quest chains in the game. There's so many quest chains on individual quests as well in classic WoW that's just so much fun and such good stories, and I think the Defias Brotherhood story is a really good story. I'm excited for us to eventually get to Duskwood and the city town of Darkshire at around level 20 and 25, that range, and we'll be doing quests there into our early 30s. But there are a few really good quest chains that I love so much, with some really good stories, and I'm excited for us to uncover all of the mysteries that there are in the world. When we look at quests in the classic version of World of Warcraft compared to the modern retail WoW version of World of Warcraft, I feel there are some very distinct differences, where in modern WoW each zone has a very overarching story that is really driven to you, and they really get their point across for what that story is, because every quest in the zone is kind of related to that story. And then there are other miscellaneous quests as well to pad out the leveling experience and the questing experience of each zone. But overall, all the quests available to you really focus in on one aspect of the story that they're trying to tell you in each zone. And in World of Warcraft Classic, that's kind of true, where many zones have overarching stories that you follow through for the span of 10 levels, and you do a ton of stuff in each zone related to a really big story that's developing, but they're smaller in scope compared to what they are in modern WoW, and they're smaller stories and very varied as well, where each zone has multiple large stories going through it. So in Elwyn Forest, we start off with Humble Beginnings, where we're kind of recruits in the Stormwind army, and we eventually become a deputy once we get to Goldshire, where we're one of the stories is just us helping out with everything that's going wrong in Elwyn Forest, and kind of learn a lot more about this guard storyline that's going on, where there's kind of a lackage of guards, if lackage is a word, that's occurring in the Kingdom of Stormwind and the Stormwind army. And then we start getting our Defias Brotherhood story, where we see this new clan of thugs in Northshire Valley, and we see that they have camps that are popping up all around Elwyn Forest, and it's this new threat that no one really knows what's happening, and we're kind of learning the very beginning parts of the story, and that really escalates into Westfall too. So those two zones are very connected in a way, as is the guard storyline that they really drive into in Elven Forest, and we see it in Westfall, and we'll see it in the next couple of zones that we go to as well. But when we look at Elven Forest, like, we see those big storylines that are like unfolding, but there's other storylines that are going on as well. So we have like the love storyline that I really highlighted in episode 2. That is like a very distinct story that's like added into the game, that's like completely separate from everything else, and it's like a pretty lengthy quest line as well. And then there's a bunch of like miscellaneous quests to help like farmers and like woodcutters and well, we didn't really help miners, we investigated mines for the Stormwind army. And there's just like so many different stories and quests that are going on in like the world, that like you can learn so much about the world, especially when you take time in Classic WoW to like explore all these like stories that are unfolding. So I just got buffed by a friend here, and I'll buff him up as well. He gave me a Blessing of Wisdom, so I gave him some Arcane Intellect, which is very nice. A very nice interaction going on there. And I hear like a lot of people like over the years talk about how like World of Warcraft has like no story in like the zones and like I guess the game itself, and I don't think that could be further from the truth. But I think like how WoW Classic like shows the stories, it's challenging in a way because it's much like slower paced, kind of, where a lot of people kind of just like me included here, if you're being honest, just pick up quests, go do whatever the quest tells them to do, comes back, and then just turns the quest in. They don't really learn like why are they killing these Harvest Watchers, why are they killing these Defias Brotherhood, like what's going on here. Where like in more modern versions of World of Warcraft and like more modern games as well, like they really drip feed you like what's going on in the story through the sense of like cinematics and like voice acting and stuff, which is 100% perfect and like honestly like really good and probably better in many senses. But like it doesn't mean that Classic WoW has no story. You just have to put in some effort to learn the story. Though there is to be said that when we look at like World of Warcraft Classic and like the vanilla version of the game, overall there is no distinct story that like ties everything together. Wherein like more, or like every expansion, honestly, starting in the Burning Crusade and like Wrath of the Lich King and like so on, like each expansion has like very distinct stories. So like Wrath of the Lich King, for example, has a story about the Lich King, and the entire expansion, like each zone has like very distinct storylines that are being told in the zones. But when we look at the expansion overall, everything from like the pre-patch that occurred during the Burning Crusade all the way until like one of the final updates of Wrath of the Lich King is telling you the story of the Lich King. Where when we look at Classic WoW, there's no overarching like storyline that goes on. Like when we look at raiding in Classic WoW, we have like Ahn'Qiraj, and we have the story of like that kingdom, like that's not connected to like the story of Zul'Gurub and like all the tropes around there. That's not connected to the story of Naxxramas. That's not connected to the story of Blackrock Spire. All things that we will talk about more in the future. But if you understand like those stories, they're not really connected in a sense. And I think that's honestly a really cool thing, because like vanilla WoW is really like an adventure, you going out in the world and exploring all these issues and all these quests, and like you're kind of like gaining reputation with like all the people that you meet, and like you're helping out people, and like there's not like one big issue that is happening in the world. There are tons of issues that are happening, and you're like doing everything, or you're doing what you decide you want to do, where you can like really make your own journey and like do what you want. We've seen in like the earlier levels here, our questing is very linear, where we're kind of moving from like point A to point B to point C to point D, and like they're all very close to each other. But as we level up, and like starting, once you honestly get to like level 16 is probably when this is going to start being very apparent, and like once we get to 20 it'll become more apparent, and then once we get to like level 30 it'll become very apparent, where like we are going to be hopping all around the world, and we're going to be going to a ton of different locations, and we're going to do a ton of different things, and each quest line that we do is going to take us all around the world, or not each quest line, but like mini quest lines that we do are going to take us all around the world, and that's like not something that we see in like modern WoW, where like quests are very isolated to each zone. Like you don't leave zones to do a quest that you picked up in a specific zone unless it's like to initiate the next zone, where like you finish zone A, you get a quest that sends you to zone B. Like that's all that's really going on. I think there's probably a couple exceptions, but I can't name any off the top of my head. To be fair, I haven't played too much Modern WoW recently, so I am forgetful. But like looking at Classic WoW, like soon we're going to have several quest chains that are going to take us to many different zones and to like different ends of the Eastern Kingdom, and quests that are going to take us to Kalimdor, like the entire other continent on the other side of Azeroth. And it's just, we explore so many different areas, and like we do so much hiking to get to these areas. And like I guess when we look at like the term quest that like these missions are like classified under, like they really are quests. We're going out on a quest to do these things, and it's just like, for me, for what I enjoy, it's like so much fun, and I just love it so much. And like that's one of the reasons why I like Classic WoW so much compared to like Retail WoW, is the sense of adventure and all the quests that there are. Like I just enjoy it so much more than like Retail WoW. And like I like many of the stories, or like zone stories specifically, not so much like expansion wide stories, but I really like the zone stories that are being told, especially in like Cataclysm. Like I think Cataclysm had like really good stories in each of the zones. But like when we compare, for me, when I compare Classic WoW to like Retail WoW, the stories of each zone, like I obviously have a preference, and that preference might be loosely based on like which one I experienced first, where my preference is the stories told in Classic WoW. I just enjoy the storytelling that it happens in this version of the game much more than newer versions. And as I said, that might be because I played the Classic WoW version of the game first, so I might be like a little biased in that sense. We see this with the Elder Scrolls series, where there's like, 5 games in the series now, plus a bunch of extra games, plus the Elder Scrolls Online. But like specifically when we look at conversations between Morrowind, the 3rd game, Oblivion, the 4th game, and Skyrim, the 5th game in the series, people have like favorites. And when we see what people's favorites are, it tends to be the game that they played first, the game that introduced them to the Elder Scrolls series. So, for example, my favorite entry in the series is Skyrim, and Skyrim was the first Elder Scrolls game that I played, and it's what introduced me to the world, and then introduced me to the story, and introduced me to some like the gameplay mechanics of like that genre, though the gameplay changes drastically from version to version. But like I love Skyrim much more than I love Oblivion, and much more than I love Morrowind. I'm like, I love Oblivion. Morrowind for me is like, okay, it's not my favorite. I just pissed off a bunch of people by saying that probably, but I enjoy it. But I don't enjoy either Oblivion or Morrowind more than I enjoy Skyrim. And that's true with like World of Warcraft. I enjoy the classic versions of the game more than I enjoy the modern versions of the game. And like when we look at the base vanilla game and the first 2 expansions, I enjoy Wrath of the Lich King the most, because that's the first version of the game that I really got into like World of Warcraft, where I started playing during the Burning Crusade. I never played vanilla, so like vanilla is not like my most favorite thing in the world, but I still love it quite a bit. But like I love the Burning Crusade more, and then I love Wrath of the Lich King the most out of these 3 expansions and the base game of World of Warcraft. And I think that's really interesting when we observe like people's interest in games, that like their childhood and like what games they played and like their first experiences with games really like drive home if like what games they like in the future, and like what games are their favorite when you like compare like similar games or similar versions of the game. So like World of Warcraft was like the first game that I ever played, outside of like Reader Rabbit games, and like World of Warcraft is an MMO, and like to this day MMOs are like one of my favorite genres of games to play. and I really think that's because like I grew up playing MMOs, and I really like all the experiences that I had as a child kind of like shaped my personality in a way and shaped my preferences in a way. Or like people that like grew up on like FPS games, and like their first game was like Counter-Strike 1.6, like they're really into FPS games, and like they can be into other games as well, but like they will always prefer like an FPS game over like an ARPG or like an MMO. And I think that's just really interesting to think about. So I need 2 more Gore-Tusk livers, and then we can pick or go and turn in all these quests. So I see I'm very sad right now, but there's people in general chat right now that are organizing for dead mines, and I want to do that, but I am not ready to go do that yet because there are a ton of other quests that I want to do, and my level is too low for that. But it is very refreshing to see that there are people organizing for dead mines, because I was a little concerned about my ability to organize a group to get into dead mines, especially at like the time that I tend to be playing. But it looks like there are people doing it, so I'm hoping that once I get to the point in time where I can join up for a dead mines group, that I will be able to get one. I have a feeling it might be like a multi-episode journey where I do like 2 episodes and I record them at the same time, but I split the episode up into 2 because it might be like a very long video. And that's something that I haven't done in the series yet, and like I don't have any issues with doing it, but I've had like each episode that I've recorded be like self-contained, where like I start recording, I do the stuff in the episode, and I end recording. I haven't done something where I like do a very long recording and split the recording into 2 more episodic length episodes. So we'll see how that goes down in the future. But in the meantime, we gotta get all the exploration and complete all the quests that we need to do to get to that point. And we are being really unlucky with all these Gore-Tusk livers that we need to collect right now. We started off the episode 5 out of 8 in it, I think, and I've killed like 10 Gore-Tusks now and only gotten 1. But I did finish everything I needed for Westfall stew, and I killed all of the harvest watchers that I needed to do, so that is good. Also, I just noticed I have no buffs. I'm not sure if I had buffs starting off on the episode or not, so I'll see that when I edit through this episode. But we are buffed up now, so we are good to go. Let us head over here and kill more Gore-Tusks. I saw this at the beginning of the episode, but there's dust devils that are like very high level enemies that just wander around Westfall, and like they're aggressive enemies, like they have red names, so they're going to attack me on sight if they get near me. And being such a high level, it's very concerning to see them walking around, because if they get close to me, I'll probably die. Or I'll use my epic mage abilities and I'll be able to escape the fight and escape the situation. But I don't want to be put in that situation in the first place, so let's do our best to ignore him. There are a lot of zones that have stuff like that, where like there are very high level enemies that are wandering around the zone, and when you first come into the zone and you're low level or doing some of the lower level quests, the high level enemies are very intimidating, and then it feels very rewarding once you get to a high level that you can just kill them with ease and you don't have to worry about them anymore. And I guess it's kind of like that aspect of becoming more experienced in the game, where you start off as a low level and stuff is very challenging and intimidating, but once you get well equipped and once you get like more skills and more talents and you get a higher level where you have more stats, the game just becomes easier, and what seemed intimidating and what seemed challenging becomes more accessible and easier to do because you put in the effort to get to that point. When we get to Duskwood, there is one enemy that wanders around Duskwood that has killed many people, including me, multiple times. But we just completed all of the quests that we need to do in this area, and I think actually Farmer Saldine, I need to sell things to you so I can clear up some inventory space, and I have many things in my inventory. I'm going to turn this stuff in first. We got Harvester's robes, so we got a new robe set here, which is very good. It has 2 stamina and 2 spirit, and 7 more armor than what we had. And then we'll turn in these quests here that are going to give us a ton of stuff that I cannot grab right now, so I need to sell a couple things. Chunks of bore meat, I don't care too much about you. I'll sell these pants. I can sell my old shirt. And then once I turn these in, it'll clear some inventory space for me. And we will go back to Farmer Saldine, and we can equip these oven mitts. We can sell this dagger, sell my old gloves there. We can sell this extra okra. I want to hang on to those hops. We will see in the future what we need them for. We can sell boar ribs. I'll just use these. Can I use both of these? I'm not sure. You have all of that. Oil, intestines, snouts. We have a bunch of food now that we could probably just sell that if you're being honest. Now, this food gives us additional stats instead of just healing us food. So we might want to hang out on this and then eat this every now and then to boost our stats. And then I will buff up again. And then let's use the protection. I think we can have both on at the same time, which we can. And that is awesome. So let's head out to our next area to do quests. So we are done here at the Saldine's farm, and for anyone who is watching my Let's Play series for a very long time, and you want to continue watching for a very long time, this is the end of the Saldine family for now. So remember these people, and in a future episode, in a future series, we will learn more about this family. We might learn about them sooner than then, because we will probably come up across someone related to them sooner than I'm thinking we will, but I know a very set time that we will, and I am excited to get to that point in the very, very, very distant future. So now that we're done with all this farm stuff here, we can work our way over to this road, trying to avoid all these monsters that are kind of on the side of the road here, and will occasionally wander onto the road, like that Flesh Ripper just crossed the road, I think. Why did the Flesh Ripper cross the road? To kill an adventurer, I guess. We can head over here and we can continue doing the People's Militia quest chain that we picked up last episode. And we also have a Humble Beginnings quest that when we visited Stormwind a couple of episodes ago, we picked up this quest from the City Architect's house, where he has a compass from like his childhood that I believe his father gave to him. And it is lost at his old farmstead, so we are going to wander over there and we are going to deal with any of the Defias. So here we are, we just got to the Alexston Farmstead, and we can see there are some Harvest Watchers that we were fighting at another farm. They are over here, and as we wander over here to the other side of the farm, we are going to start seeing some Defias that we are going to fight against. And I am very intimidated by this area because these Defias are really, really difficult. The looters are not too difficult, but the pillagers, these Defias pillagers, there's a level 15 one right there. We got these two that we have to deal with. Those pillagers, I believe, when we are looking at the vanilla version of World of Warcraft, so from 2004 to 2007, these enemies, these Defias pillagers, are responsible for killing the most players out of any mob or any boss during that time frame. So they killed like more people than any other boss or mob did from 2004 to 2007. That includes any raid boss, any any raid boss, any other mob in the game. They did more damage and killed more people. Please don't kill me. Okay. Let us run away and probably die. So already against our first Defias Pillager, we have almost died. And I believe at our current level and our current power, we could only take one pillager at a time. We were able to deal with two looters at the same time. But these pillagers, they mean business. So we need to be really, really, really careful. And if you look at that hut over there, under no circumstances do we want to fight both of them at the same time. We're going to want to polymorph one or the other and deal with the other one quickly. And then, honestly, we might still die if we do that, but hopefully we would be able to take them both out. But I think in order to be as safe as possible, I'm going to try to only fight one pillager at a time. It looks like this pillager is on an... sorry, I'm thinking here. Was on a path and she stopped. So let's try... Wow, I did no damage there. Let's try to fight her. We're gonna... Oh, she resisted. I'm so stressed out right now. I can only take 2 more fireballs. Okay, I am dead here, but I killed the pillager. That is how powerful they are. And we are only level 14, so they are definitely going to be a struggle for us. And we lost both of our scroll buffs, but whatever. I have a feeling we are going to die a couple more times during this episode, so we'll see what happens. Okay, I got back to my corpse and I revived, and I am probably going to try to loot this pillager here. So the item we need for the Humble Beginnings quest is inside that burnt down house right there, but we see it is protected by many Defias. So I don't know what I want to do here, and I think I'm just going to try to kill these 2 Defias looters, hopefully not pull anything else while we do so. We almost got this one down. Okay, let's finish this one off. Should be one more. Oh, it was not one more. Okay, we just used a fire blast. We almost used up all of our mana fighting these 2. We're very low level. We need to go back to Stormwind soon so we can level up all of our skills and stuff. Because we have not leveled up since learned new skills since level 10, I believe. Or level 12 maybe. So we're struggling a little bit. And I noticed we got 1 gold. I think we got that while we were at the Sardines farm. So this is our first gold that we've earned in this series, which is super exciting. And we'll probably go under a gold once we get back to a trainer and start learning some things. But in the meantime, I am going to fight this looter, I think. And then I'm going to try to sneak into this farmstead here. So I think this is going to be the hardest part of the episode right here, is getting to this compass that's inside this building. Once we get that, we should be able to like slowly and surely finish off the People's Militia quest. Let's loot up or drink up on water real quick so we have full mana before we try to get into this building. But once we get this compass, everything else should be easy going from there. So the compass is in that lockbox there. So let's try to sneak in. Nothing's attacking us yet. I'm super stressed out right now. I think we're going to get it. Okay. And let's sneak out here. And we didn't pull those 3 Defias right there. So that is okay by me. So now we just need to kill 14 more Defias Pillagers. We lost, kind of. I guess it was kind of a stalemate. And a 1v1 to one of them. So let's hope we don't lose 14 more times. Eventually we'll live up to level 15, so we'll be a little bit stronger in our adventure. But still, we got a critical hit off there. And we can finish it off. Okay, so we did much better fighting this pillager than we did the last one. We only lost half of our health, so that is good. And we can just stay around here for a little bit, and we can kill a few more looters. But similar to the People's Militia quest that we did last episode, where there were several areas where we could fight the Defias, this quest, there are several areas that we can fight the Defias as well. So this farmstead is just one of those areas, but there are 2 other areas that I might go poke my head around a little bit, that we can fight these Defias at as well. So I'll stick around here and I'll kill a few more Defias, and then we can make our way to one of those areas. We can kill a few Defias there while we check it out and see what's going on, and then we can head over to the last area and then finish up the quest. So let's pull this looter. We are killing more looters than we are killing pillagers, and I guess that's because the looters are easier, but we'll definitely need to kill some pillagers because we need to. I noticed we got unarmed or disarmed or whatever during that fight. That means like we lost access to our weapon for a little bit, which as a mage isn't too big of a deal because we don't use our weapon too much. But if we were like a warrior or a rogue that really relies on the weapon that we are using, we would have struggled against these looters a little bit more than we are right now. But fortunately, We're doing A-okay. So I'm going to try to do something risky here. I'm glad the polymorph went off. Oh, there's a third. Okay, the Defias didn't pull on us for some reason, so that's good. She probably didn't care that this pillager was sheep formed, polymorphed. Okay, so I'm just gonna sit here. Okay, we're frostbolt now. I was trying to let my oh no, I was trying to let my mana go up quite a bit. I think this is where we're gonna meet our ends. Okay, I don't think we can win this, so I'm gonna try to run away. We might be able. Oh no, okay. If she didn't cast that fireball on me, we might have been able to win, but we did not. Since this pillager is by herself now, I am going to come back so we can get one more mark off on our quest. But hopefully we don't die. That looter might come back around from the path that she was wandering. But, oh, there she is. So let's wait for this looter to go back into the barn, and then we can fight this pillager. These pillagers are responsible for the most player deaths for a reason. They are very, very, very difficult to fight. They deal a ton of damage, and she took 3 frost bullets before she noticed I was attacking her. That's interesting. Let's finish her off. Very nice. So I'm kind of interested to see what's in this barn. Probably death. So let's wait for this looter to get out of the barn, and we can fight her off real quick. And then we can head into the barn. And I'm hoping there's going to be 1 pillager in there, but there'll probably be like 16 of them sitting in a circle just waiting for me to walk in. So here comes the looter. When she walks out of the barn, I'm going to start attacking. Target not in line of sight, but she is now. So it's... Oh, that's not good. Okay. I was too close to the field there, and a harvest watcher walked nearby and decided that he wanted in on some of the action here. Okay, and let's finish off this watcher, and then we can do a fire blast, hopefully. 1 more frostbolt and then a fire blast. Okay, let's loot them, and then let's eat and drink. Okay, now that we are healed up quite a bit, let's poke into this barn and see what is going on. Oh, path stalkers. These are Defias we have not fought yet. Oh my gosh, there were 3 path stalkers in there. So I'm piecing out of here, and let's head over to the next area that has some of these Defias to fight. So here we are, far away from the Alexston Farmstead now. Well, not too far away, it's right over there. But here we have Gold Coast Quarry. So we noticed up here, we didn't really explore too much, but there's an area that had a bunch of Defias called the Jingle Load Mine. And down here is another mine, a quarry, I guess if you're trying to be exact here, where there are some Defias hanging out. So we see that these Defias are doing a ton of mining operations in Westfall and kind of stealing ore and like riches and things like that from these mines and doing something with them, something that hopefully we will find out soon. We almost died there, but we see them here at the Jingle Load Mine, and then we see here at Gold Coast Quarry. They're up and down the Westfall coast mining different things for some reason. So we have some more pillagers and some more looters here. I noticed there are a ton of pillagers right here, which is nice because they are a little bit spread apart, so we should be able to get some nice kills here to work on our quest and hopefully not die. We might die to this one, so let's not do that. Let's drink up some health potions, get 2 more frostbolts off probably, 3 more frostbolts off probably. Okay, we were very fortunate there that he started running away. I think if he didn't like run away in fear, we might have died there. I noticed when I was engaging in that fight, I wasn't fully healed up, so I think that kind of caused a couple of issues for us. So that's not that happened again. So let's fully heal up here. And I don't have buffs. I guess I must have not buffed up when I had died last. That's been happening a lot this episode. There's a looter in there. So let's just clear some of the Defias that are on the outskirts of this quarry here. And then we can head off to the last area that has Defias. And we're going to need to heal and restore mana after we kill each one here. So I just left all these bodies for us to loot. I focused on killing them first. Let's try to get this looter out of the way here. She's probably going to pull on us if we try to go. Oh, here comes two. Well, we can deal with two looters. We've done that multiple times already. Let's get this one out of the way. And then we can loot all these bodies. And now that one's gone, so we can finish off this one. I think we are probably going to hit level 15 by the end of this episode, and it'll probably be the only level that we reach this episode, which is okay. But we can kind of see the leveling process like slowing down a little bit, where we gained like 5 levels in the first episode, and now we're kind of at a point where we're gaining only 1 level. So looking into this mine, we see there's a Riverpaw miner, so some of the gnolls in the area are actually here helping out the Defias, and they're doing some mining here, which is very interesting. But I see in there's a pillager, so I'm going to try to pull this pillager and see if we can pull it without pulling the miner, and then this might be as far into this cave as we go. So we might even be able to LOS this pillager here. Oh, he fired the fireball anyways. Okay, that's I kind of wanted him to come out a little bit more. I used a health potion there. Okay, let's heal up. We fought one pillager, so we have to take a break and heal up. This is very challenging. But nevertheless, we got this pillager out of the way. I'm going to risk looting him. Worst case scenario, we can just fight off this Riverpaw gnoll real quick. And I guess this exact... Oh, there's a chest in there. I guess we will kill this guy and we'll get some nice loot out of this. So let's get this Riverpaw miner out of the way. A little bonus objective we're doing here. And I guess if you see any pillagers like right here in the mine as well, we can fight them as well. I don't think we have to worry about looters. There are quite a bit of looters around, a little bit less pillagers. So let's heal and drink up real quick, and then we can go grab this chest here on the left. I'm hoping there's going to be a pillager. Oh, there's just another Riverpaw miner. That's okay. Let's get this chest. Hopefully there's something good inside of it. And there are a ton of healing potions and some mana potions, which I don't think we've had a mana potion yet in the series. We might have, and I might have used it, but I don't have any distinct memories about it. So there are some... Too bad the potions we got are some of the lower level potions, which are still very useful, but not quite as useful as these higher level potions. But let's get this pillager out of the way, and then we can fight this looter, and then we can head out to the next area. We see this quarry is kind of going out onto the coast. This coast here on Westfall is very long and expands the whole length of Westfall without any breaks. And it goes from Elwyn all the way down to Stranglethorn, and it follows the coastline into those two zones as well. Where we don't really see the coastline prominent in Elwyn. There are like mountains in between, like where we explore in Elwyn and the coast, but still it exists in the world. And you can actually run like on the coast, kind of. It's like a mountainous coast instead of like a beachy coast. You can run there, and you can run like to new zones actually through that coastline, and it's really interesting to see. We see in the classic version of World of Warcraft with the Alliance, Night Elves spawn in Kalimdor, and there are no boats that take them easily from like their home in Teldrassil. No boats that take them to like Stormwind City or to Ironforge. There is a boat that takes them to Minotho Harbor, which is a location that we will visit in a future episode. But long story short, it is kind of out of the way of low-level areas. So night elves that are level 1 that want to quest in human areas or in dwarvish and gnomish areas, they have to kind of go on a little bit of an adventure where they have to run through some very hostile territory and probably die many times on their way to get to those areas. But one strategy that a lot of Night Elves players use is they actually run down along that like mountainous coastline from Minotho Harbor towards Westfall. And at a certain point, there is like a mechanic in the game that's called like, I think it's like fatigue, where if you're too far away from like a safe area in the world, from like a beach, from the edge of like an ocean, you will eventually die. And it's kind of just a mechanic to avoid people from like getting too far away, because there's nothing like developed out there too far in the ocean. So there's like a point where running down that coastline, you will get fatigue and you will die. But when you return as a ghost, you come in here in Westfall, and you're a ghost here, and then you can just use the spirit guide to resurrect here in Westfall, and then you made it. You made it all the way down here to Stormwind, and then you can begin questing in the human lands, or if you want to take the deep run tram, which is a thing we will see soon enough, and maybe next episode, maybe the episode after. They can take that tram, and they can go quest in Dwarvish and Gnomish areas. But here we are in Moonbrook, which is another town here in Westfall, and we can see there's a ton of stuff here. There's like a schoolhouse there, there's an inn there, there's some farmhouses and a blacksmith we see over there on the other side. There's quite a bit of stuff going on, and this entire town is occupied by Defias. So let's clean it up a little bit, and let's get these Defias out of here. Fortunately, here on the outskirts, there are a ton of pillagers for us to fight, and they are like very far away from each other, and I'm very low on health right now. So they were pretty easy to deal with, which is good for us. Let's not conjure more muffins because we are kind of out of space there. But here we have another pillager, and then there's some looters, and we should be able to finish this quest up very easily here. And then after that, we can head back to Sentinel Hill, and we can turn in the quest, and we'll see what adventure lays ahead of us there. But here, let's frostbolt this pillager. And this pillager is probably just going to stand there and cast a ton of fireballs at us. And I want to go loot him, but there's those harvest golems there, so they might pull on us. So I might... Oh, that's... Okay, I just saved my life. Okay. These healing potions are really nice to fight against these pillagers, and I'm really happy I got, like, what, 4 more from that chest there? Because it allows us to get, or take 1 more hit from each of the pillagers. So it's been very handy with, while refighting all these people here. Let's go loot this pillager. And then I noticed this group back here is kind of spread out now. So let's try to pull this pillager here that's wandering around. Or, oh, that looter's there. But this pillager is exposed right now. So let's try, before she gets too close to friends, let's try... Ooh, there's another pillager there. I think we'll work into Moonbrook from this angle. So let's fight this pillager here, and we can see this like schoolhouse looking building here. It kind of looks like a town hall or like a church kind of, and we see there's like a big barn over there, and we kind of see with like all the like tile sets that exist on like World of Warcraft, we can kind of see very distinguishable buildings. So like the human basic house is like a very distinct look, and like when you see them in the road, you know that's a house. But here we kind of see what looks like a barn-like structure, like a silo on the side there, but it's very different than the normal barns that we're used to seeing with humans. So it's like a very interesting motto that they decided to create here in Moonbrook. So we need to kill 3 more looters and 2 more pillagers. How the tables have turned on which one we need more of in the quest. There are a ton of looters right here, so I think we'll just work on these looters, and then we can go around to the other side of Moonbrook and fight more pillagers. Let's fight this looter, or Frost Nova the looter. I'm already fighting her. Oh, there's a pillager right there. Okay. So that pillager just stopped right there. Okay. Let's drink up so we can restore our mana. And then let's try to fight this pillager. I'm going to frostbolt her once and then run away because I don't want her to be over there, and also canceled her fireball there, which is nice. So now she's way over here, so let's fight this pillager. We also got another frostbolt off on her before she even started casting, which is nice. So we can finish her off really easily. We only need one more pillager. Very convenient that she walked up there, and I need more food and water, so let's conjure some up. And then we can take a moment to eat the food and drink the water that we just conjured. We are 3 bars away from level 15. We are very, very, very close. So let's fight these looters. We need 2 more looters, 1 more pillager. There might be a pillager inside this house, maybe. I have a feeling there might be. We can kind of see an alchemy set there, so it kind of makes sense. There's like a mage or a magic user in there. So let's fight off this looter. He resisted both my frostbolt and my fire blast. That's unfortunate for us. He resisted another frostbolt. This guy's being really tough. He disarmed us. It would have been bad for a warrior. And we finished him off, so that's good. And then we had to use a ton of mana to fight that one looter because he resisted 3 of our spells. So that took a lot out of us. But let's fight, or let's explore this area here. Let's just walk in here. There's nobody in here right now, so that's strange. But we can kind of see there's some different people around there. I think I'm going to come around onto the other side of Moonbrook, and I'm going to look for 1 more pillager and 1 more looter, and then we can, because I know there are these 2 right here. So let's hope that nobody walks up on us like that looter. I almost cast that polymorph, but that would have been very bad for us. So let's wait for this looter to walk by. And oh, he is just sitting there. He should leave in a moment, because I want to fight this pillager and looter. And it looks like he's just going to walk around the house. So once he leaves a little bit, we should have a good amount of time to fight off these 2 Defias before he gets back. So let's fight, or let's polymorph the pillager and then get a bunch of frostbolts off on this looter. And we're probably going to have to use a health potion here. So let's finish off this looter very quickly. Okay. Oop. I really turned my camera there. Okay, let's cast the frostbolt. And we're kind of running a little low on mana, but we should be good, but not good in the health department. So, oh, this is not good. Okay, let's loot this. Okay, so we got a nice drop there, and this looter is attacking us. And I think I'm just going to run away. I might Frost Nova and then, oh, he's running away. Okay, let's see what drop we got here. So not better than the quest reward we got earlier in the episode, but still very nice. And should sell for a decent amount of gold. And we finished the People's Militia quest that we were working on. So that is very nice. And we can head back to Sentinel Hill. Here we just discovered Stindle's Pond. There's a couple of grave signs there, which is a little concerning. But some bones here. I wonder if that's related. But we can just walk past this. This is a very popular path that many people take, because we can see in Moonbrook there's actually a dungeon there. So that the dungeon that we have been talking about for a little bit is actually located in Moonbrook, and the closest location to Moonbrook is Sentinel Hill, and the fastest path is here past Stindle's Pond. And if you die, I believe the closest graveyard is here in Sentinel's Hill. So if you're trying to get back to the dungeon after dying, or if you're trying to get to the dungeon to do it, you're going to go through that route. So many people will go through there, and we can see that happen many a time. But here we are back in Sentinel's Hill, or Sentinel Hill. I keep saying Sentinel's Hill. I've noticed that in the last episode I said that a couple of times. It's Sentinel Hill. Let us head up here and let's talk to Grindstone Mantle, because we just completed, I believe it's the second part of the People's Militia questline that we began last time. And I just noticed here, we can kind of see in the outskirts here, if my camera angle is correct, we can see this tower and like this arch structure. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think that might be the Mage's Tower in Stormwind, which is very interesting. Your worth to the People's Militia has been validated by your brave acts thus far. 6 silver reward. We just got the next step. Some Defias have eluded us. My most trusted scouts report that these Defias have been looting and pillaging the countryside all the way into southern Westfall. We believe they are hiding out in the Dagger Hills, plotting their next move. Slay the wretches in the name of the People's Militia. So we just got a new quest here, and we have Spark of the People's Militia, which is a wand. So this is the first quest that has a reward of a wand. So I'm excited to do that. And we actually have not leveled up yet. So I think, just like last episode, I might walk out here a little bit. But first, I might actually sell some stuff. Let us head over here to Quartermaster Lewis. We have talked to you quite a bit since we have arrived here in Sentinel Hill. And let's just sell a couple of things to you to clear up some inventory space for us. And let's walk out here. Congratulations to this person that just leveled up. Was that the person that gave us the buff earlier? I think it was. And let us fight some Gore-Tusks. So now we have really done a lot of stuff in Westfall, and we are kind of seeing now that we don't have many quests available here yet, though we are level 14. So we haven't done, or we haven't leveled up too much in the zone yet. We're kind of running out of quest space. But we do have a couple of quests in our quest log to go to new locations. I also have this quest to turn in. So we are going to, next episode, we are going to work on one of these quests. And I believe we are going to head over to the Red Ridge Mountains, and we're going to work on the Defias Brotherhood quest next episode. And we will see everything that's going on there, and then we will see what's going on in Red Ridge, because it's a new area that we haven't explored yet. And then in a later episode, we will come back here to Westfall, and we might die to a Gore-Tusk again here. Let's heal up a little. Let's get one more mana tick up. This Gore-Tusk resisted. This is very concerning for me. I'm going to run away here. And then probably die right here. I'm dead. Yep. It wouldn't be an episode if he didn't die to a Gore-Tusk. That's just... I'm just going to say that. Okay, let's run over here. And resurrect. And let's heal and drink up. That guy might have seen us here, and we might have been really, really embarrassing. And that is a beautiful scene right there with the moon, a very large moon, coming up over that tree line there. That's very beautiful and very cool. That Gore-Tusk died, maybe? I'm not sure. But nevertheless, let's come over here and fight this Gore-Tusk. We only need a few more kills to level up to level 15. Finish the episode off on a very high note here. And the next episode, we will begin working on the next quest in our quest log. So let's fight this Gore-Tusk, get him down, and then let's go over here. Let's come over here actually. Let's fight some of these Defias, because they are yellow. They're only 2 levels lower than us, so they should give us a little bit more experience. Except the smuggler is one that likes to throw her throwing daggers at us. So that's a little bit of an annoyance. But luckily for us, she was easy to defeat. And then let's just drink up a little bit before we just try to fight one of these wolves here. And then I think we are very, very close. Yeah, we are... What is math anyways? 75... Wow, that was really easy math. I thought it was a 3 there, but it's actually 2. We are 75 experience away from leveling up, so I think it might actually be 2 coyotes we need to fight here, because I don't think the coyotes are going to give us a ton of experience. But now it's 72, so we are 3 experience away from leveling up. So this coyote here, congratulations to this coyote, but you are the lucky individual that is going to level us all the way up to level 15. The only episode that we gained, or the only level that we gained this episode. So we can see leveling experience is slowing down, but nevertheless we leveled up anyways. And with that, we got a new talent point. And this is an exciting talent point because it is a new line of talents. So we can choose to increase the duration of our chill effects by 1 second and reduce their speed while chilled by more. Improved Frost Nova reduces the cooldown of your Frost Nova spell by 2 seconds. And we see here there is this arrow here that leads to another trait or talent here. So if we learn this Improved Frost Nova, we are able to learn the Shatter the Shatter talent. But if we don't learn the Frost Nova, we can't learn the Shatter. Here we have Frostbite gives your chill effect a 5% chance to freeze the target for 5 seconds, and Ice Shards increases the critical strike damage bonus of your frost spells by 20%. And I think I'm going to put my talent into there.
Looking for something specific.
Now I'm going to talk to Lewis, and let's clean up our inventory one last time this episode. We can sell all of this junk here. We have some cheese there, we have some linen cloth, so when we go back to Stormwind, we can use that linen cloth to for our tailoring purposes. And with that, we are going to head back over to the inn so we can log out and get some rested bonus experience. And on that note, I am going to end the episode off here. We got a little bit of stuff done. It feels like a lot. We finished up a ton of the quests here in Westfall, and we got back to Sentinel Hill, and we are ready to adventure to our next location to do some more quests and more exploration there. But I thank you all for watching this episode, and I really appreciate you all for watching this episode. We're on episode 6 now, I believe it's 6. And if you made it this far into the series, I really appreciate you being here. Or if you just skipped here, I also appreciate you being here. But nevertheless, I hope you all have a very good time wherever you are. I hope you all drink some water. If you want to support me, feel free to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.